Hey guys, welcome to the Scar Thumb Podcast. It's David. I've got a lot to go through now. So we're going to get right into it. Welcome to stream. Today's kind of theme is about canceling, the attempted canceling, studios being canceled or shut down, and of course, things keep going bad for Concord. So we'll talk about that a little bit too, because why not? It's fun. So this is the first story, and this happened earlier in the week. Really interesting, but maybe a happy ending. Blessing in disguise. Here, Soul Ash 2 developers faces harassment for not adding LGBT romance. Soul Ash, I believe Soul Ash would be the way you pronounce it, recently released their family update, which allows players to start families with their characters in order to create a lasting legacy. Huh. Okay, sounds kind of cool. Soul Ash is a medieval fantasy roguelike that introduces multiple systems to enhance immersion. Shortly after the update was released, a user asked if the creator Arthur, I'm not, it's Polish, Artur, is it Artur? I want to say it's Arthur, but it doesn't have an H. Artur Semurowski would consider adding same-sex romance to the game. Semurowski responded by saying that it wasn't something on his radar, but left the possibility open for adding it in the future. Here's a tweet from him. This is my response a week ago after a week-long activism campaign in all of our community channels. So I show my teeth, the oppressive people left, and now we continue to have peace and fun. Hey, good morning, King Trust Issues. So here is the tweet. Let's see. Hey, Audra, thank you for your hard work. I'm a queer fan of your game and wanted to ask you if same-sex relations would be possible in future updates. I know the other devs and ones like Medieval Dynasty say they considered it too late to put in the game. Just wanted to see if it was something on your radar or if it would be safe for you to implement in the future. Thank you for your time and dedication. Very nice there. The main purpose of the family is to create a legacy through children. And given our limited ways to interact with NPCs, I don't think there's a good way to represent relationships. So I don't plan to expand that right now. More extended interactions were something that some players wished for, was a basic approach to the game, but unfortunately it would take a long time and probably the removal of the conversation and dialogue system to turn Soul Ash 2 into The Sims. As well as other games I'm already trying to mix. We're going to have to see if I ever get excited about it, but right now I'm too pumped to go to war to delay any further. So he's just like saying, it's just not something that's a priority for this game. This is a small developer, so he's got to really prioritize this. However, answer prompted what has become a days-long harassment campaign against a game which users review bombing Soul Ash 2, claiming its creator is a bigot. This is despite the inclusion of being a matter of practicality. This is despite the inclusion of LGBTQ romance being a matter of practicality rather than a statement on the creator's beliefs. At least one user went as far to gloat over the potential that developer would effectively be blacklisted from coverage. So this is a tweet. Let's see. Obey, idiot, or your business will be ruined. Nobody will cover your game because we'll all call you a bigot. This is a prime example of an extremist I don't want in my community. Plenty of other groups with gamers of every background who share their passions for games. Let's see. The developer is an evil person. I almost like whenever I see this stuff, I imagine it's like a 14-year-old that's really upset, having some sort of like, immature rage at this. That's what I imagine. Because an evil person. What an amazing statement to make. And it's almost like has like a religious connotation, which is what some of these sort of progressive extremists, or if you want to call them like LGBT, this sort of extremism, it becomes a religion for them, and they express it through like video games and these other smaller communities. The developer is an evil person and also an idiot. Wow. Other people have talked about why he's an evil person, so I will explain why he's an idiot. He's an idiot because despite being a fully grown adult, I always love when they use the. So this is how I know they're like children. He's an adult, so he should know. He should know that I'm smart and do what I say. He like, this is like clearly spoiled people. uh, he's an idiot because despite being a fully grown adult, he doesn't understand basic natural consequences. You're openly bigoted. The people who hate bigots will use tools at their disposal to punish you. Even if the idiot manages to salvage his Steam ratings, he has made himself toxic to associate with several of the key YouTubes who provide publicity to roguelike games, and therefore unlikely to receive further coverage from them. Anyone with basic business sense would know not to say the hideous things he has, so clearly he has none. An individual without basic business sense is likely to make unsound decisions in the future, which means he's much expected to succeed in developing a game enough for it to be worth the price he charges. So even if there is an immoral, selfish egotist, or worse, a bigot, the poor decision making demonstrated by his awful behavior is a good reason not to buy the game. Okay. Here to say why. Again, I haven't really seen. They will also say these things like he's evil, he's a bigot. They never actually give an example. This is something I've noticed very clearly with a lot of these people. They just say he's evil, he's Hitler, and they never point to any specific terrible thing that he's done. So this is what was happening. Hey, how's it going, JBB? I already showed that tweet. It's the other tweet. So they were attacking his review scores, but people caught on to it. The sort of anti-woke side of the internet caught onto it and decided, like, hey, you know what? We don't like this shit. It's time for us to rally behind this guy. Hey, not adding. You don't want to add gay stuff because, and here's the thing. This is always the funny part of it. Yeah, sounds like arguing with a woman. Give an example. Like, nah, they can't. No, bigot. No, bigot. I'm not gonna give you an example. Google it. Just Google it, and you'll know. It's always some other thing. Like, just do your research, educate yourself, and you'll know why you're a bigot. I can't give you an example. And so other people showed up. They saw it like, hey, this is fucked up. He didn't even say that. He didn't say that he wouldn't add it. He just said he didn't have time. It's not a priority. Oh, why are you guys hating on him? And this was, let's see. Do I have Wanderlust tweet? So this Wanderbots came in. Dead adds marriage and children to his games. LGBTQ folks respectfully ask for possible same-sex marriage. Dev blows a gasket and bans him, which didn't happen. LV leave a few reviews. Dev goes full mask off with his hate to see it, but also good riddance. Yes, this is the sort of gaslighting that they do. Oh, we just respectfully asked you to. That is like, no. And then he blows a gasket after we call him a bigot and say his business will never succeed because we're going to call him a bigot. And then he said, my grandparents survived the Nazis. My parents endured communism. I've lived through religious oppression since the age of 10, and now some spoiled brats think they'll bend the knee to their rainbow flag, or they'll type some words. I already have a flag I'm proud of, and like, this is a Polish flag. I'm not European savvy. You realize not how I love how dumb these people are. You realize Nazis and communists hunted down and killed gay people too, right? Oh yeah, yes. Thank you for making it about you. Yes. It's just like what this guy is dealing with is just like this man's parents have grandparents trying to endure Nazis and experienced it during actual authoritarian regimes. The persuasion are real. I don't want to discount that, but and then immediately just follow with a but, which means he's just lying. He's flat out lying about this crap. Don't use that pain to justify discriminating against the people who face the same exact persecution. All of this about is over him not adding a feature to his game. By the way, that's what persecution means. And this, of course, so this was actually shown on botted likes because clearly this has been botted to hell. 49,000 likes, very few replies. And then this was an interesting conversation, and this kind of shows you how how a lot of progressives will kind of use politeness, which is something like normal good people value. And sort of like you want to get along, you want to be socially well adjusted, but they'll kind of use that against you. And then when it doesn't work, they'll just throw out any pretenses. So this, I'm very disappointed in this conversation with the roguelike mods where they went mask off. I'm shocked it took a little pressure to crack them to reveal their true colors. I'm linking it below for you to see alongside the inflammatory title of Bounding Comics article about my stance. For those who don't know, there are still 2 hideous posts about me on roguelikes that gathered significant support and were one of the main sources of the review bomb and hate campaign alongside Wanderbot's tweet. Those who have known me for a long time know my passion for roguelikes, and it saddened me to see fans of the traditional roguelikes use it as an attack force for a hate-driven political group. I know I don't want to associate with this group again. So this was the smear campaign against Soul Ash 2 dev backfires completely. Thousands of people joined a stance against oppression as the situation continues to reach more press and influencers. So this was open a new tab so we can expand this here. All right. So here's our tour. Hello, I've noticed you kept 2 smear posts about me that radicalized your entire subreddit to come and review bomb my game Soul Ash 2 and disturb my community with hideous attacks. The situation has developed. Lies been combating the truth just to settle. Like for good people to have the opportunity to learn about the outcome of the hate campaign. Examples I offer below, but a lot more now. And this is the link to Bounding Comics. I hope you, as a moderator of the roguelike communities, can remain impartial. But if you take your stance in this conflict by allowing only the extremists to have their words, my initial response was downvoted so I could defend my name. I will understand, as I have taken mine too. I hope we can continue to share our passion for roguelikes despite possible other differences. And then this is the mod. We have remained impartial. Both original threads related to this game have been locked due to the influx of hatred associated with the Soul Ash community. It seems as if both sides have ample time to make their points, and did so as you did in your own defense. There have been multiple threads since those 2, not just yours. All of them have been blocked or removed because it incites more of the same. This is clearly a large amount of brigading activity surrounding this issue. Both parties didn't have ample time. This is our tour again. Both parties didn't have ample time, so the situation has developed, and the good people who are not part of the community has now saw it for what it is. Should I take this as you supporting these posts made by extremists who falsely attacked me by not allowing me independent sources from press? And then this is the mod again. We've been discussing it. We just wanted to make it the strict commands known to you first. You are free to make a post if you like, but hopefully you realize it's likely to work against you given the tendencies of traditional roguelike communities at large. So this is him kind of saying like, hey, you're free to make a post, but I mean, I like how he always says traditional roguelike communities. He just means Reddit, really. It's like Reddit is very liberal, so it's probably not going to help. And then roguelikes, thank you. This is our tour responding, thank you. And then he responds, by the way, if you want to be heard, you need to do a self-post explaining your position, not a direct link to the article like you tried before, because the comments you attach will just get downvoted to Xperia again, which defeats your purpose. I've already been heard by a large part of the world that independent article should suffice, as I don't plan to debate it, just clear my name with those who wish to see what really happened. If you're going to link an article, please resubmit this without the sensational alternative title, which is not from the source. Just link the source with its title. I don't know what's he saying as far as the alternative title is. Bounding into comments. I don't see what's smear campaign. Again, I don't see what this is as far as the both parties. Let's see. All right. Let's get back to the place. So there's something wrong with the title. I don't see what's wrong with it. If you really don't want me to burst your bubble here, huh? I've seen a lot of reviews coming from this community that said I'm completely burned and my business will fail because of their narrow views. The whole roguelike fan base is you guys. The title is accurate. The end of the article shows my tweet about the cavalry. Or is that? Yeah, cavalry. We're not allowed to post with such we're not allowing you to post with such an inflammatory title. So this Artura responds again, if you did allow the other two smear posts to be completely negative, I'm writing something positive. I'm tired of this bullshit you guys created. And I want to go back to work instead of escalating it and pointing out that people responsible. Let me leave that to protect my I think this is supposed to be reputation. Same as you guys did leave these two bullshit posts from that shit on me for others. Lock the thread if you want, and let me leave for good. If you want, you can put the article up on your behalf with a neutral title. Make it clear you wanted your side heard, but don't want to participate in any further drama about it. No, I want these people to know that they've lost, and they should never try that again. So he's getting pretty heated. We're not going to let you pick fights here. Take your battles elsewhere. And this is like you could when I first read it, I can kind of see the Maz point. Like, look, why further inflame this? But here Arturo responds: are you seeing the scale of what's happening? I urge you to reconsider. This is unacceptable. If you continue to block good people here from knowing the truth and turn them into extremists for your agenda, I will take it further. I see the scale of you tapping into, and this is where they kind of go mask off. I see the scale of you tapping into a neo-Nazi adjacent anti-LGBT hate mod to drive sales of your game. It's pretty embarrassing, to be honest, and it's not a ploy we're going to let you play here. You're welcome to put your side of the story here, but this hate-stirring bullshit is in no way welcome. So this is where the mod decides to really show what he's actually about. And this is what these liberals kind of do. They pretend, politeness is okay. They'll let, people call you, and you see this a lot in social media, where they'll let you call you LGBTQ bigots. They'll let you imply all sorts of terrible things about you. But when you try to defend yourself or hit back, that's when they whoa, you're gone too far. You need to read the room. Yikes, bro. This ain't it. Then they act like, oh wow, you're the one. You're the one that broke the social contract here with your rude behavior. And so he makes it clear that he's glad that this is happening to him. And he's really just sort of using this politeness as a pretense to try and shut him down. But things that did go pretty well for him. It seems like Soul Ash got 1,000 subscribers on his YouTube, plus 237 in 28 days. So he's gotten a lot of positive feedback. The community, as I mentioned, as I showed here, the reviews have gone way up. So a bunch of people got Be kind, exactly. Hey, how's it going, Nuke? X Runner, good to see you. Good to see you guys. Baron, good to see you too. Chad of Arabia, always good to see a lot of the guys in the chat. So it's went well for them. You know, they tried to cancel them. Most people just said, you know what, screw that. So they see like seems like they can try and bully him, and even the people like in the Reddit, YouTube, that covers this a lot. You know, that kind of the tastemakers that think they have some sort of power. The Raw Council has arrived. Absolutely, they tried to do it. It doesn't seem to be working out for him, and Solash is making money on it. And good for him. I think in a way he's almost kind of, let's see, like if you look at his posts, he's really leaned into it. He seems very very pissed. But I mean, if you look here, communities are purged. The fans are enjoying Solash 2. Some of you asked me to share the results of this review bombing. Oh, wow. 3,500 copies sold in a week. That's greater than 2 months of my typical sales. 12,700 wish lists. Very positive. Rating is back. Double peak players compared to last. Plus 10,000 Twitter followers. The Rainbow Extremists have sparked my game's most effective advertising campaign. I hope it inspires more developers never to let a bunch of spoiled brats bully them in their communities. I appreciate your support. I'm grateful so many of you chose to stand with me and help defend my name. The extra effort will be reinvested into improving the game. This is what happens when you choose gamers over politics. Gamers win. Wow. So he really leaned into it, and hopefully, I don't want him like. Hopefully, this won't be like his thing, become his thing. You know, he won't lean too hard into it. But I'm glad he leaned into it and made some money out of it, because it's obviously he's like making like tons of threads about it and talking about it. So it's hot right now. So I can't blame him for using that. Making hay while the sun shines here. And a good message. A good message. Don't bend to the mob. You can survive it. And then it is unfortunately that you have to sort of kind of lean into the right wing anti woke stuff. But it makes sense. Even if you're not like this guy doesn't seem particularly political about it. He just wants to make his video game. But if that's what you have to do in order to get people going, get other people on your side, then why not do it? Why not use Grums or any of these other guys that make their bones off of anti woke stuff to get your game noticed. It's far better than just throwing these people out and just hoping good people will come. You got to sort of rally them to your side. This isn't related, not related to Solash, but I thought this was interesting. And like, we don't need these people. This was a developer, and a lot of these liberal Western creatives like to have their own like cancel circles. So we don't need people like this in the industry. I love this post by Ben Bolton. Remember when games were about playing a generic enlisted guy and not about playing a diseased one of 1,000 freak? You're probably remembering a time when games were actually profitable then. Nobody wants this shit. And then this is a bunch of people with, I think it's vertigo. I can't pronounce it. Give me a second. Let me take a drink. Vertigo or whatever. This seems like it is. People have like these like libs have like a fetish for this stuff, like because it's so like odd. Like they always like this stuff that's repulsive, like at like a first glance, or like you'd look at it and be like, oh my god, what is this? Like a burn victim or something. And then like they like to make this like a thing, like how do we make it even more progressive? Having a black person just isn't enough anymore. We need this disease in it as well. This skin disease, which people have. And I'm sure, if you want to add options, but the amount of people that have this, that play video games, has to be so minute. And to, like, showcase it, like, this is part of Dustborn, which sold like shit. I assume on the left, Modern Warfare, Sims, like, whatever, they gotta add stuff. We'll add everything into it. But why add this into an operator? It's clearly signaling. It's virtue signaling to their other peers. Look what we did. We won up to you. You added a black guy? Get on my level. I added a woman with a skin disease in it. How about that? And then, like, you have, like, guys like, Commander Carl. Yeah, this dude's a piece of shit. He's already pretty much been ostracized from 3D community, thankfully. Yeah, we got our communities, and we don't welcome it. And then like, he's like arguing with people and things like, yeah, we need more like him. Not scared to say the truth. The church doesn't it. Woke affecting games and then targeting a checklist rather than a good stories is fucking pathetic. Get politics out of game and back to fun storytelling. It's not even political. That's always guys. It's not political. It's just a skin disease. People want themselves represented. It's their identity. I know it's not. This is like literally like when I don't know how many people have. Let's see. How many people have? Let's Google it right now in real time. How many people have I think it really only affects black people too, but I could be 100% wrong on that. Vitiligo in the U.S. Let's see. A survey study estimates that 0.76%. So less than 1% of the adult population in the U.S. has vertigo. I should have Googled how to pronounce it. Or to 1.11, so probably less than the gay people. So that makes it even. It makes it even worse. It's even rarer than being gay. So pretty cool. The incidence rates of diagnosed vitiligo. God damn it! I'm gonna how to pronounce. I need to Google it. It's bothering the fucking shit out of me. How do you pronounce? Let's find. I'm helping everyone know.
Vitiligo.
Vitiligo. That's how you pronounce it? What the hell? Vitiligo. I liked my word better. So it's totally rare. Totally rare. Vitiligo is, and I think it was saying like it was. Wait, so most of it, the incident rate of diagnosed vitiligo is highest in people 60 to 69, and the prevalence is highest in people, so old people. Like, and everything in this picture is young people. So like that's probably even rarer. It's an autoimmune skin disorder that affects as many as 2.8 million people in the United States. Sure, but I don't know what the ages are. How common is it in the U.S.? This is saying 0.04 to 2.28%, based on the study's kind of specific subpopulations. I see. It's extremely rare, but we got to show it because people need representation. The 0.002% need to be represented. It's very important we get them represented. Oh, by the way, you wanted to play as a white guy in your game? That's the main character of your game? Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, whitey. Let's move on to Concord. Oh, there are so many people trying to boost this up. It is so funny. Concord is selling much, much better on the PlayStation Store than Steam. Data reveals Concord is 511 on Steam's best seller, but Firewalk's new shooter sits on 42 of the top seller list. Wow, and Helldiver just 33. Oh, this game that's over 6 months old is beating it. Wow. Guys, this totally changes the narrative. This is a Tweaktown's RPG gaming editor. Oh, of course. So the journalists are doing their best. They're doing their best. This was PC Gamer. The eagerness to grave dance on unpopular games has become a bad habit. Concord's low turnout has led to usual jubilation of the prospect of seeing a big game fail. I wonder why people want to see it fail, huh? Sony's Hero Shooter last week, and Steam currents haven't topped 1,000. Dramatic low turnout has already earned the title of biggest flops of the year on social media. And if you caught any of the discussion on Reddit, TikTok, and other platforms over the weekend, you mostly saw people gloating, posting screenshots of Steam BD, inserty charts, and tacking on a generic dunk, or claiming it rules that we're seeing a big game fail. That jubilation over Concord's low turnout apparently cracked the top 50 bestsellers on the PlayStation Store of the weekend. Derives some of the degree of "I told you so" sense of justice. The idea of out-of-touch, creatively bankrupt executives are cynically chasing trends that the rest of us would have had the common sense to avoid releasing Concord, a Marvel Avengers, a Suicide Squad, a Gotham Knights, or that perplexing Gollum game. But it's not actually that easy to know why one game succeeds and the other one doesn't. This is so ironic considering the fact that no journalist is willing to say that the character designs are ugly garbage with zero no one will mention that there's like zero sexuality purposely to any of these characters, and they were designed in like some sort of politically correct like super chamber to make sure they don't offend anything, and they end up being the most generic garbage ever because of that. No journalist was willing to say that, but we don't know why it won't succeed. It's got to be the $40 price tag. But anyway, this was a funny article, and then immediately, there's always the guy, and sometimes they can be annoying, but sometimes they're just hit it too well. So here it is, the "this you" guy, and then of course more people are playing PC Gamer, the exact publication. More people are playing 2017's Prey this year, 2017's Prey than this year's Redfall on Steam, and the latter player count fell all the way to 2 players last Sunday. So the PC Gamer, of course, lecturing people on stuff that they do all the time for views, because, of course. What's going on, Silver Bishop? Just joined a few minutes while packing before we go on the train. All right. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Check in on Sunday. Hopefully have a good train ride. I got Redfall for free and I feel ripped off. So PC Gamer, yeah, is zero problem with dunking on games. It's just, it's bad when it's a game I like. Come on, guys. And this, Forbes, I disabled my ad blocker. No, I disabled it. Don't worry, Forbes. Concord Week 1, sub 200 players on Steam, 56 in PlayStation sales. Kind of just showing just how it is it is a monumental flop. This game is truly, like, in terms of flops, it is the floppest flop that ever flopped. It really is amazing. This is like probably $150 million game. 8 years of development went into this. 8 years, 150 million, countless, teams of people, probably like 100 plus people working on this game. And you can't even break to right now, a few days after release, its peak is 178. It is an absolute ghost town. An absolute ghost town. This is a Pirate Nation pointing out that Squirrel with a Gun has more players than Concord right now, which Squirrel with a Gun looks like an absolutely moronic game. Really cheap, but outdoing a player, beat him on the peak, More people playing it right now, so it's got more legs than Concord. Really, really amazing. There's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of games you can point to that have more players than Concord. It's not a high bar, but still very fun. Very fun, that stupid game about a squirrel with a gun killing them right now. And then this is people like, so I haven't actually seen the Concord characters until today. Legit the worst roster I've seen. Just in genuine awe. 8 years of dev team for these guys. Somebody did a terrible job. Hey, what's up, Deborah? Good to see you. I hope you're having fun at Dragon Con. And then just the roster is just so bad. Just amazing. Amazing. An amazing level of garbage. Just so bland. No one. There was just really no cohesive design on this. When you look at this roster, again, no sexuality to any of these characters. They're complete. That seems to be the only like consistent thing I can see. Where like female characters can't show cleavage, can't show hips. The only one that looks slightly masculine is Star Child here on the bottom, the sort of bottom right, the big like ape looking dude. He kind of looks like a man. Also, I forget what her name is. I think it's Bermari, who's based off a actress as a trans woman, or trans man. Well, anyway, that also looks like a man, but is actually I guess supposed to be a woman. I don't know. I don't know. This is this is what they get. I'm so happy to see this game fail. I really am genuinely happy to see this game fail, because when you make characters like this, you deserve to fail. This is shitty art. And of course, they're going to do everything they can to not take the right lesson from it, but we'll see. This is IGN, so they actually got some analysis. This is by Rebecca Valentine, who's a huge liberal hack, so don't expect anything good from her. Concord is estimated to have sold only 25,000 units. Here's why analysts think it's failing. I'm going to spoil it for you. It's not going to be the bad, shitty-looking characters. Even though that's what everyone that is like outside of gaming journalism, everyone that just sort of like looks at it like a potential customer, mentions that the characters look like shit. No one in journalism. This is why it's so disconnected. No one's going to mention that. But yeah, it's Concord. All right, so for last week, there's been a lot of discussion on Sony's newly launched multiplayer shooter, but it's not because everyone's playing it. Seemingly no one is. Plenty of games don't sell well at launch, but observers latch Concord's dramatic failure due to the high-profile nature of Sony's first-party game, and its shockingly low Steam concurrent player numbers at launch. Upon its August 23rd debut, Concord has only 697 concurrent players, and it hasn't risen from any higher since. As I'm writing this, 130 entire players are playing on Sony's brand new first-party game on Steam. That's real low. Even for a game with middling critical reviews, we gave it a 7 out of 10. It's amazing that 70 out of 10 can be good or bad depending on how people want to, which at IGN means it's good. So it's good, okay. Middling. But it's also good, depending on which way you want to look at it. So what's happening? Why did Sony's first-party game get sent to die out immediately? It is actually selling badly, or are we just reading the numbers wrong? As usual, when questions about the stage crop up, I asked a bunch of professional industry analysts to help to explain it to me. Hey, what's up, Bull Rush? Good to see you. Played Wukong for a couple hours lately. Pretty something so far. That's what I've heard nothing but good things from Wukong so far. A lot of people like it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. I like the Goku mod I've seen on it. I thought that was pretty pretty funny and actually very fitting, of course, Goku. Unfortunately for Sony, yeah. So is Concord selling that badly? Yes, is what they came up with. I could have done that myself just looking at Steam charts, but historical numbers are ones that have been experienced by have a tendency to be used by to drive narratives that don't always paint a full picture. That's not what's happening here. Well, I mean, come on. When it's that bad, it's what's happening. Liam Denis, a principal analyst at Omdia, said the Steam numbers are so bad, they're so bad that even without extracting data on the PS5 side, we can be pretty certain that the game is doing very badly. Come on, like, I'm trying to quietly. Okay, Steam numbers are so bad. They're so bad that come on, like, come on. Other analysts were able to share a bit of insight on the PlayStation side with me. Per Circa analyst Matt Piscatella, citing Circana's player engagement tracker on Monday, Concord ranked 147th in the U.S. PlayStation 5 daily, 147th across all titles, with fewer than 0.2% of Monday's active PlayStation players playing the game. Less than 1%. This is a brand new game, $150 million put in this game. An analyst, Simone Carlis, who's author of GameDiscovery.co newsletter, estimated that Concord's total sales are sitting around 10,000 units on Steam and 15,000 units on PlayStation. He responded to my email Wednesday. So about 25,000 for a $150 million game. Hold on, let me open my calculator. Where's guys, don't look at my stuff. Calculate. Let's see. Let's do this calculator. Let's see. So 25,000 times $40. Okay, so $1 million. That's $1 million in sales. This is total. This isn't actual profit. I mean, assuming that they're probably not going to be making that full amount. So $150 million. Is it? Yes. This is about Concord. And they made about $1 million back. Good. All right, cool. And this isn't profit, by the way. This is just total sales. So it's probably like, honestly, when you factor in like even they're probably profit probably isn't even half that, to be honest. Total profit's probably less. Because I mean, like, I don't know what video games are, but you have digital sales, you have to have marketing, you have to have the cost to make it. They're nowhere even close. This is such a huge failure. It's amazing. It's just amazingly so. How bad of a failure this is. It's amazing. Sadly, sadly making a fun, high quality shooter is not enough in the oversaturated live service space these days. Sadly, just having fun just ain't enough these days. Turns out you have to make characters people like. And I've heard everyone say that Concord, as far as the game goes, yeah, it's fun, but how are you going to sell it? Like, there's a lot of fun games to play. Like, how are you going to sell people on it? And their idea was to sell this. This is what they sold. And this is what this is just driving me nuts. Every article I read, no one will mention that this is what they sold and this is why it failed. I mean, one, they didn't do anything dramatically different on the gameplay front, but everyone said, like, the gameplay's fun. But this is what they tried to sell the game on. A fucking old Asian woman. You can play as an old Asian woman. Awesome. I can play as this fat brown dude. Whoa. Let me giant nose, screechy annoying chick. Whoa. Let me pull out my wallet right now. Holy crap. Weird alien lady. A giant trans woman. You don't want to play giant trans woman or the garbage can, or they're both garbage cans. Oh, how about this weird looking red blazered trans woman? Would you like to play as that? No? Oh, shoot. I guess we're gonna lose $150 million. Oops. Sorry about that, Sony. But that is Concord. Just an absolute disaster. Meanwhile, Deadlock seems like it's doing insane numbers. I mean, almost 90,000 people, despite being a closed alpha. People are saying Deadlock is insane. This is Shroud.
Yeah, this game is gonna easily, and I mean easily.
This is a Twitch streamer guy, so like just take everything they say as with a grain of salt.
take over in 2 years when it comes out.
It's going to take over in 2 years when it comes out.
Yeah,
It's the first it's the first.
These people that are all like always online entertainers almost always say shit that like just totally over dramatic. Just assume Destiny, you know, that level of brains on these
First,
people.
like,
earlier.
But they just say
arena
shit.
shooter
Underneath
MOBA that
us, underneath us.
actually is good.
I'm
All the
ulted,
other
I need
ones,
help, I need
all the
help, I
other
need
ones
help.
kind of stink.
Arena shooter MOBA that's actually, because it's a mix of like a MOBA and like, imagine Overwatch plus League of Legends. I guess, you know, that I don't like either of those games, but imagine people that like both those games and you put it together, that might be pretty good. The game is easily gonna take over. I mean, easily take over. Major streamer, early fans. Let's talk about Shroud, Deadlock, getting a lot of press right now. And of course, it still has a long time to come out, so we'll see. But might be a hit for Valve. Of course, Valve known for putting out stuff like Team Fortress 2. They're usually a pretty good developer on games. But what isn't doing well is Blue Protocol. I mentioned it, and like some people were giving me crap about. I was getting downvoted on the video I put out about Blue Protocol, where I'm saying like it's probably dead. Well, it's dead. It's dead. And them removing the stuff, they just came out with that announcement. Looked pretty cool. This is from Niche Gamer by Brandon Lettle. The once popular MMORPG from Bandai Namco will bound be closing January 2025. NASA have made a difficult decision to end service on Blue Protocol. They will shut down their Japanese Blue Protocol servers on 2025 and have ended plans to release the game in the West in collaboration with Amazon Games. In their statement announcing at the end of service, Bandai Namco Online, we have enjoyed a strong relationship with Amazon Games throughout the development of Blue Protocol, and both teams were disappointed that we will not be able to deliver the game to players around the West. We know this is a disappointing news, and we share your disappointment. We love the players. We love the world and the characters of Blue Protocol, and we are excited to welcome players from around the world into Regnus. We join Bandai Namco Online in expressing the deepest gratitude and the passionate fans. Thank you for giving us your money, suckers. We followed Blue Protocol development and participated in closed technical tests. We have great respect and appreciation for the talented team, blah, blah, blah. So they're shutting down in the months leading up to Amazon, but you know what? Maybe they got what they deserved. In the months leading up to Amazon Games' global release, the development of Blue Protocol has been fraught with censorship issues. The global release of the game would have shipped without jiggle physics button in the character creation and without the S body type, which would allow characters to create lollies. So, man, I guess it was for the better that it got canceled. Was set to release in the West sometime in 2024, but it just had so many issues that it just died. So I was kind of looking forward to this game. It looked kind of cool when it first was announced, but it is not to be. And of course, Amazon Games being the distributor seemingly wasn't a good idea either, because you kind of once you sort of like remove a lot of the sort of like things that make Japanese anime. It doesn't go over well with that crowd. But moving on. Let's get to Monster Hunter Wilds, a game that is coming out, and I'm looking very much forward to. But there are issues, there are problems with it that, especially with Capcom, make me kind of think, what's going on? Capcom's going down, like I said, a dark path here, and I'm not sure I like where it's going. Not in terms of the gameplay, but in terms of some of the other things it's doing. So Monster Hunter Wilds removes gender restriction on armor appearance. So this image is from World. I'm not sure what will be removing gender restrictions on armor appearance, allowing players to use whichever they prefer. The change was announced in a recent presentation at Gamescom, explaining characters will be able to have more options for customizations. You can check it out below. Rather than removing male and female armor, it seems players will have the option to wear either. So don't worry, the cute female armor with all its cleavage and exposed midriffs aren't going away. Players will simply have more options. To dress the character how they want. The fashion of Monster Hunter has received increasing emphasis Ever since layered armor was added in Monster Hunter World, layered armor allows players to wear any armor they wish with appearance they've unlocked at a craft as their armor. And usually people kind of like go, well, it's just, it's just more options. It's just more options for you to use. That more options are more better, right? But I think a lot of players are kind of worried, specifically, and I think they're right, when they look a little bit beyond it and say, like, if they're specifically developing these things, if they already like removed male, females, type A, type B. You see this happening in a lot of games. They're removing the sort of gender restrictions on the clothing. Is this going to mean, and I think correctly, are they just going to start making stuff that they specifically know is going to be worn on both? And does that mean that eventually we're just going to get away from more and more distinction between male and female armor? Like, they'll still have like a few cute pieces, with midriffs and stuff, but eventually this is going to lead to just more and more generic looking armor, more and more unisex type of armor. To me, it just doesn't seem like a good sign. And this is, I think, a problem with a lot of this creative works, is that they're removing the contrast between masculine and feminine, and it ends up, and even like good and evil too, which, I was talking to Jack about the orcs having, fucking a wife and children here, rather than just being evil orcs. They're, I have a wife and kid waiting for me. Yeah, exactly. Everything is getting into this gray androgynous, gray morality. All of it becoming a shade of a shitty gray. As we have to, this is what, progressivism leads to. This sort of communist regime, some sort of like grayness, constant grayness here. But this was actually some sort of good news, and this is, I think, this is from Rurikon, is how I pronounce his name. So he is sort of this was, I think, an interesting story that I'll play for you from a Gaijin Hunters telling about the developers of Monster Hunter. I think this kind of shows why the Eastern developers have kind of maintained a level of quality that the West has not.
The Twitch chat was really nice, and I was watching the streams with people on most of the days, and I was saying there, and some people weren't aware, but I just love Tokuda-san's story of like how he came to Monster Hunter. I think it's just the greatest ever. I'll repeat it here if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think we talked about it, but yeah, go ahead and say it again.
Yeah, like a bridge version, like he went and saw Monster Hunter for the first time at Tokyo Game Show when the game was still in development, the very first game.
The very first game.
And the team had barely scrapped together like a Rathalos fight, and it was like really like spaghetti code at that point. But like he loved the concept, and it talked to him, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And the first thing in his head was, "I know how I would make this even better." It's not that it wasn't good. It's just,
so he saw the game.
Dude loves reptiles,
first came out.
right? He's like
and
me. Has
he
lots
loves
of lizards.
reptiles.
Loves the idea of the realism and making them feel like they're living and breathing. And he went ahead and found his way into Capcom.
So this is one of the things that makes Monster Hunter so good, is the monsters themselves. And this, I'm not so worried about some like the woke character design of Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter star is ultimately the monsters. But when you see him talk like this, where like he likes reptiles, he really wants to make these monsters seem real.
Worked his way up from the bottom into, by third generation, he was in charge of adding literally the stamina system.
Started at the bottom and moved
all
up.
Those redesigns that made monsters get exhausted, because they never used to. I don't know if people don't know that, but before third generation, like that stamina system didn't exist for monsters.
So they would just like keep attacking nonstop.
Yeah, and like
very interesting.
And then he redesigned a lot of their feet, the wings, and stuff like Rathalos, trying to make him look a little bit more realistic. And then, even for second gen, like he was involved in a lot of like Nargacuga, like all those monster designs. And then by the time World came, that was his baby. He got to direct his own Monster Hunter, and lo and behold, his whole thing was to have a living and breathing world Then they had a guest director usually for the expansion. So they had a guest director for Iceborne. Obviously, the portable team, Ichinose, took over and did Rise. And for the last, 5-6 years, he's been working on the Wilds, if not longer. And now they're taking that whole living, breathing concept and just amping it up. I'm like, this is
a guy that moved, literally started at the bottom rather than bringing like some guy from somewhere else, from like some other company and putting him in place. This is someone that literally started from the bottom, made his way to the top to actually direct the game.
His vision, like, it's just crazy that
he has his own vision of what he wants the Monster Hunter to be. A strong
and
stuff.
That becomes his like motivation to.
And an actual guy that that really loves the game. It's not about making a profit on it. I'm sure he does, but he really wants to make the best game possible. And I just got to wonder, like, is that possible in a lot of these companies nowadays? Like a Western company, where you could just go in, you really like the concept, really nerding out. Like, is like some guy that really loves lizards, like, oh, hey, can he like make like sort of geeking out on that stuff? Can he make it up through a corporate ladder? It's still possible, but can he do that? Or like, will he say like, oh, talk to a receptionist and start to, hey, you want to touch my lizard, and then he ends up getting canceled or fired from HR because he seems kind of gross and geeky. Is like those people able to like make it up through the ranks nowadays?
And
it's hard to say.
The brand for obviously the better.
I hope
it's just with him at the helm. I don't care. I might have my doubts about certain things, or little like minute game mechanics. But as far as the actual like integrity of the brand, this is Monster Hunter, man. Like,
and it's really interesting to connect that story with something that happened on Thursday morning. Because like Thursday morning, I'm going there super early because I would always wake up super early to go to the show floor and whatnot. And I was just, let me see what the Monster Hunter booth is looking like. This was very, very early, so the lights
that would be
weren't
the
even
simple
on
fix
in the booth yet. There was already a
but
massive
that can't
queue,
be done.
like wrapping around the whole show floor.
The Gamescom
and
are
who
just
do I find just
crazy.
Randomly standing there, just looking at everything? It's Takuta-san. Most people don't even know who he is, so they don't even recognize him. And I see Takuta-san there, and I was like, big line, because obviously he didn't have a translator with him, so he can't communicate much because they don't really speak that much English. But I was like, big line, and he had like the biggest smile. He was so happy that all these people came down to play his game. You could just tell by the look on his face. And then he goes and he tells me, I saw your live stream yesterday. And I was like, God damn it, this guy. What the hell, dude?
So he's geeking out over the fact that the creators actually watch his stuff.
I can't.
They do seem like they're paying attention to the.
Believe it. He's just like a super chill dude, which is super humble, down to earth. Just it was very surprising.
There's a second part of this
because sometimes developers don't.
Also can handle.
Damn it!
Creative director behind everything, and just let him make sure that the series vision is going in the right direction, and then Toguda-san gets to remain the creative, the force that drives all the leads and makes the game, and it shows, man. Like, they just love what they're doing, and
the level of passion that.
So yeah, the upside is that these guys have good directors. I think and it's scrubbed the right part.
Creative director behind everything, and he's done a good job of navigating.
People came, which is super humble. Down to earth.
He's done a good job of navigating.
Which is, super humble, down to earth. Just, it was very surprising is all. Because sometimes developers don't turn out to be like that. Not saying that, developers
but you can
are
tell,
evil or anything.
Also, like, he's done a good job of navigating the series where he's never had to get into the bureaucracy layer. And I think Udozo is like the perfect layer for that, because you can tell the dude is passionate as hell and really cares about Monster Hunter, but he also can handle that executive stuff as well at the same time, which is crazy. For Fujioka, they kind of just found a way for him to be the creative director behind everything and just let him make sure that the series vision is going in the right direction, and then Toguda-san gets to remain the creative, the force that drives all the leads and
This is actually, I think, really important because I don't know how often that happens. English. I think his Gaijin Hunter is kind of a Japanese. Uh, he's like a
It makes the game.
English guy in Japan. But the idea that there's someone that's actually just the creative director, that's just the creative, and then you have someone that can actually work on the bureaucracy side of it, so they don't have to interact. I think that's super critical, and I don't know how often that happens in a lot of games. Too many times it seems like the bureaucracy has way too much control over the creative, as opposed to creative just like, hey, you do your thing, make sure it looks good, and then if not, you end up getting shit like this. You get this when you don't have like a clear creative vision. There's something very wrong with this. Something went terribly wrong. Meanwhile, this is just keeping the creative vision, people that actually know the game, know what it's about, letting them explore their vision. You end up with something that's beautiful, as opposed to just slop that you see so often in like so much entertainment nowadays. And so it's looking really good for Monster Hunter, as far as that goes. They've got good people at the helm, and the Capcom is smart enough, since they are a game company. I assume the people at the top of Capcom, they're not like owned by Sony or owned by Microsoft or any of that shit. Even if they are kind of going in some like DEI woke direction, they're still smart enough to let their creative guy. They've been making games for so long, and they've got people at the helm that know what they need to do to actually put out good games. They're kind of going woke. I mean, like I mentioned, they removed this like erotica shot from like in a lot of the remakes. They're kind of updating it for a modern audience. Where like they're removing like stuff like erotica. Like if you take when you're like Dead Rising, there was like extra points for taking pictures with that include cleavage or an upskirt shot. They removed that. I think they removed looking up Ashley's skirt in the Resident 4 remake, or kind of like toned down Ashley as far as like the schoolgirl looked went in that. So they're updating it to be a little more appropriate. Of course, the localization teams with some of the Capcom products, where they wanted to tone down some of Cammy's outfits, though I think they did add them back in. There's been a lot of cases where it's not looking good. No jiggle. I don't think they're making DOA anymore. Dead or Alive. They might. I'm sure they may still make the. But I think that's Konami, isn't it? I don't remember. I can't remember who exactly makes DOA, but the fighting game I think hasn't been out for a while. But we'll see. I mean, it's little things, but it's not like in a good direction. It's like all those little things sort of add up after a while, until like they come to like some sort of watershed moment where you get like people are just like, yeah, this is a little too much. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But shit, I had a ton of other stuff to talk about, but I knew I almost over prepared on this. I didn't even go to the article. Before you know it, Washington was black. Exactly, like Aragon. Aragon just all of a sudden becomes black in a Magic card, and you're like, what the hell happened? Where did we go wrong? That's the last thing I'll shortly talk about. Visions of Mana came out. I covered that a little bit on my other thing. Beautiful artwork. Yay, it released. Very cool. Fun. I played the demo. It seemed like a pretty nice game. I thought like $60 was almost a little too much. Got a lot of people talking. Would be a fun. Yes, Monster Hunter is would be a fun game to play with everybody. Very cool. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We'll see. Yeah, it does look amazing though. That was Magic. I think Lord of the Rings did so well they came out with a second one, and I don't know if it's going as well. I don't think they had that huge hype with the sort of like one of one ring, selling for like $2 million. But you come out the game. He's saying, "Oh, thank you everyone, thank you colleagues that overcame the language barrier, thank you beyond all borderline." This is a translation, I assume, like breaking barriers, worldwide, approval for the game. Did pretty well. Like when I looked at Steam DB, it was doing like 4,000 ish, close to 5,000 on Steam. I'm sure it's doing decently in probably even better on like stuff like Sony on the PlayStation. RPG players, I think, tend to be more on the console side, but that's just me. It's no proof, but come up with your game. You worked on it for years. It's getting pretty good buzz around it. A lot of people like it. But what if I told you Tencent and NetEase rethink Japanese approach to game strategy stalls? So Tencent Holding and NetEase are reconsidering or scaling back many of their investments in Japan studios after years of spending yielding few hit games, and the Chinese market staged a comeback. NetEase has cut all but a handful of jobs at Oka Studios in Tokyo. According to people familiar with the matter, it tends to shut down the Shibuya outfit, which has opened with much fanfare in 2020 and gone on to hire veterans from big names such as Capcom Co. and Bandai Holding Incorporated. The few that remain will oversee the rolling out of its final games before the studio winds down. NetEase, a larger rival Tencent, is also reconsidering the pace of investment scaling. And people said, not going to be named, but details aren't public, it's already backed off from several funding commitments for new games, the people said. So, one of, I don't know if they mentioned in this article, one of the people that they mentioned, that's Oka Studios, is the team that made, well, I guess I don't have it here, is one of the teams that are making Secret of Mana. They're the developers of Visions of Mana that just released. So literally the day after this released, they announced that they're dissolving the studio. Pretty messed up. Pretty messed up. Oh, hey, you can release this great game, you're fired. So, I mean, damn. This is probably worse than Concord. Worse than Soul Ash here. I mean, he just had a bunch of angry people at him. NetEase literally just said Concord, they're flopping hard, but Firewalk Studios is still in business. Miraculously, they're still in business. But goddamn. Visions of Mana comes out, getting pretty reviews, doing all right. You're fired. Like, oof, that's rough. Very rough. And of course, Wukong is doing crazy numbers, so a lot of the Chinese guys are like, hey, we should be making Chinese games. Now, I mean, China is buying so much of it with Wukong. There's clearly a market for it, so maybe they're like scaling back and reinvesting into China. But that's it for the thing. I will be redirecting to my channel because I'll be hosting Post Zero this week. Join me. So please join me there in about an hour. I'll be joined by some of the other Post Zero guys as we talk about the sort of disappearance of spaces for men. Probably, related to video games and, tabletop, all that stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So please join me there, and we'll see you then. All right, guys. Goodbye.